Hi, Ron G, aka your console, the Net Worth Nation. This one's for you, my millennials. The top three, absolutely top three ingenious ways that you millennials can retire early, young, and rich. Here we go. What a doozy, what a doozy, what a doozy, what a doozy. So listen up, guys. This is gonna be something that I don't know. I think most of the videos now that I'm kind of making, I'm gonna have to say I'm probably more or less confirmation videos, especially with my millennials. I've underestimated you sometimes to the point where I don't think that you guys have heard of some of the things that I'm talking about. And then I find out because, of course, my kids are millennials. I find out that, yes, you've heard of it. Hey, Pop, yeah, we know about this and we know about that. So, with that being said, this is probably just going to be a confirmation video for all of my millennials out there. So, let's have a little fun. So, the very first thing we want to do is, and I used to always say, duplicate, replicate, duplicate, replicate, duplicate, replicate. In other words, what is it? And I challenge everyone out there in Net Worth Nation land. What are some of the things that we can do to generate income when we're physically not there? Right? What are some of the things we can do to generate income when we're physically? We might be there mentally, spiritually, emotionally, but we are not there physically. And so this little quick hit is my number three. And so I think about things like, yes, you've heard it. I know you have the vending machine business, right? That's a similar type of example where a vending machine business is physically in one location and it's generating sales even though you millennial are physically not there. Now this is something that, like I said again, you said, yeah, man, I know they got vending machines out there, Ron G, they've had vending machines forever and a day, but guess what, forever and a day they've been there and they're still there. They're out there on those college campuses, they're out there at the beauty parlors. They're outside the barbershops. They're outside the Walmarts. They're outside the BJ's, the Costco's. They're still there. They're in the school auditoriums. They're in the workplace break rooms. They're still there. So again, this is something that we have to say, man, when am I going to tap in to these goodies, right? So that's one thing. Another thing you guys have at your disposal is the gig market, the gig boom, the gig boom, 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 right? And so everyone's doing some kind of gig work, whether it's delivering food or something to that, or Uber, Lyft, or somewhere along the line of that. Go share companies like that. Click on the link below in this channel if you're interested in hearing about some of those companies. I can give you a plug on those as well. But for the sake of this video, just want to touch on that. What does that mean? Well, let's be realistic. A lot of us right now have assets, have transport liabilities. So what I call them is transport liabilities, transportation liabilities, aka the old car and the expensive car note. Most millennials that I know whose credits are not that great most likely got a higher interest rate. A few of you have done really good with your credit, but a lot of your credits are a little shaky. And so you don't get the interest rates that you want. And that car becomes a liability. So why allow it to do so? You have so many opportunities out there with Lyft, with Uber, with GoShare, and all these different companies, Uber Eats and things like that, that you can absolutely begin now to maybe allow your vehicle to be used by someone like maybe me, who can go out there and hustle on the weekends because I don't have a car, right? And I can rent your car and use your vehicle and bring you back the money to pay your insurance and your taxes and your tags and put a little money in my pocket. You can start out with one, and eventually maybe you can go to two. Now, just so you know, because I don't want to just throw out blah blah blah. The vending machine business, on average, one machine on average can make you anywhere between $300 a month on average. Now let's, we can always say it could be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but again, those profit margins, you still have to take in consideration that from time to time machines have to be serviced and so on and so forth. Of course, you're buying most of the products, if not all of the products, in there at wholesale rated prices. So again, these are things that we all know. In the rental car space, traditionally, there's a range where you can get anywhere between, on the low end, $30 to $40 a day, depending on if you have some type of an SUV or pickup, because you may have people that can use that vehicle for a lot of other reasons. They maybe pick up something from Lowe's, Home Depot, Costco's, or something like that. So depending on how that works, I know the average vehicle can make you anywhere between maybe $300-400 a week, not a month. And so that starts out with one car. Now, if you really wanted to take it to another level, you can obviously get that vehicle, maybe another vehicle, maybe another vehicle, maybe another vehicle. Another thing that's booming in your generation is that the digital education explosion, the digital income explosion, where digital prioritize data and trainings and how to's and all these types of intellectual properties that can be digitized and resold. Again, remember what we said, doing something either one time and getting paid out on numerous occasions, or providing a service that doesn't require you and I to physically be at the location. Again, this is the way the millennials should think. Now, like I said when I opened, this could very well be a, dang, I knew he was going to say those things. I had a feeling he was going in that direction. But again, having a feeling that I'm going in that direction, knowing about these things, and actually putting them into play is the difference between being rich, financially secure, wealthy, or not, right? The net worth nation mindset. So again, with the vehicles, with the intellectual property, digitizing, coming up with a program or a process or something that people can download and digitize, for XYZ price. Now those profit margins can be as high as $4.99 a month. I mean, excuse me, per product, or it could be $99 or $97 per product. I mean, we've all seen those types of things that are out there. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is probably, again, something that we all know or you guys have heard of, but it's probably going to be something that you probably say, ain't no way I can do that, but most of you are. And you know what that is? You're living at home with your parents. A lot of millennials are still living at home with their parents. We know this to be true. When the Obama administration came in, they started pushing back the medical ages to 26, 27, things of that nature. You still have a lot of young people living at home because, of course, you all know the cost to rent has been very high. Now, again, I know this is a process to get yourselves on your feet and then get on off to the races. But think about this. What is one of the most highest expenses in the world? And that's rent. The average rent in the United States right now is roughly going, for a one-bedroom apartment, is roughly, and I'm talking nationwide, is somewhere between $1,600 to $1,700 a month. And that's in the middle of the road. I don't know where you guys are that's listening to this video, but you probably say, man, that's cheap compared to where I live, right? And so then you think about that, that's $1,500-1,600 a month. You're probably not paying your parents that, most likely. You probably are not paying your dad, your mom, or whoever you're living with, aunt and uncle, probably not paying them $1,600-1,700 a month in rent. I'm sure you're not, right? And so the concept that maybe, just maybe, we hang out at home and be able to now do some of the gig or the things that we're doing, because now, without that major expense that you may have had. Oh, by the way, I didn't even tell you about the median price of a house. home ownership, median price for a mortgage is roughly around $2,400 a month. And that's just the mortgage. We're not talking about anything else. We're not talking about food. We're not talking about transportation, power, electric, depending on if you're in the city, depending if you're in the suburbs, cutting grass, things like that. And so these are the types of things that you start to look at. And I'm sure most of you have. And you guys are millennials. You guys know a lot, right? I'm not going to dumb you guys down. I've learned my lesson. You guys are very, very intelligent. And so you already kind of know where I'm going with this. Those expenses can be outrageous. Now, is it easy to live at home as an adult with your parents? Adulting, as they say, it's probably not that easy, and it's probably some form of stress or strain. I know in my household, we have family meetings, slobber knock'ems, knock down. Who's going to clean and who's doing this? And hey, I need a car today. We do all that, but make no mistake, if you really want to work it out, and you were to show your parents, listen, mom, dad, listen, I tell you what, me and my brother, or me and whatever, or me and my boyfriend, or whatever, if that's what you condone. Now, I'm not, sitting there saying some people are very, strict about having non-married couples in their house. So that's a whole nother story for another day. Check out the Minister Ron channel. We can talk about that on another channel. But the point I'm making is you work out something. Hey, mom, dad, we'll kick in on the food. We'll kick in on some of these resources. We'll make it affordable so that we can carry our weight. Because even with that being said, it's still going to be less than $3,500 a month, or in some cases maybe even 4,000, depending on where you live, as far as household types expenses. So that's my second one. And the third and the last one, yes, again, something you probably absolutely heard. Yes, the insurance product. Now, you're probably saying, I'm too young to think about retirement products and solutions of retirement products and services. But here's the thing, you guys have no better time to do anything but now. Because the one thing you have on your side as a millennial for right now, maybe not tomorrow, is time. So come on, let's look over here and take a quick peek at what an index universal life product could look like for you. And so, again, you're at home, we talked about that, and now you're setting up for the win. And so, what life insurance is going to do for you, yes, I said it. Yes, I said it, is life insurance. Why? Because it absolutely has the gist. So let me show you what I mean by that. And this one is how we close out. For $500 a month, remember now, the average millennials probably making about 2,400 a month, something like that, 2,500 a month. So you take that $500 a month. Remember now, you're living at home, sharing expenses. We've talked about that. And I want to show you what this could do for you if you took it a little bit more serious than most. So we're going to zoom up to our page and we're going to look at the fundamental basics. Yes, life insurance, the fundamental basics of what a plan like this does. So as a 24-year-old, which means you are definitely millennial, and you put away $500 a month in one of these IUL plans, at the end of year one, if nothing happened, no interest, no anything, let's just say for the sake of this example, no interest, no anything, at the end of the first year, you will have $6,000 at the end of that year. All right. And so remember now, millennials retiring as what? Millionaires, right? Retiring a millionaire. Now, remember, this is what we're talking about, and doing it relatively young. So here we go. We can see after 10 years, you're looking at about $60,000. Okay. Nice and easy, right? By the age of 43, you're looking at 120,000. Now, the interesting thing about these IULs is that they do have stock market gains and stock market losses, but nevertheless, we're just assuming now that this is just basic savings. Okay. Now, what makes the IUL so special is that it does work off the S&P 500. So that's a good thing. And you'll see by the age of 58, once you stop paying, you'll probably have somewhere around $223,000 in savings. Now, what is the beautiful thing about it? Why do I keep talking about it? Because again, we're talking about a stock market based insurance product, which is going to do something a little different than just putting away 6,000 hard, cold cash dollars at the end of every year. So, what does that mean? Well, let's look at the market. We have the market. All right. So, we look at what do we have here? We have what we call the market results. What does that mean? That means if you take the same IUL and now you put it against the market, because this is what an index universal life plan does. It's indexing, which means it's working off of the S&P 500 results. Now you're looking at what? Just under $1 million. Just under $1 million in net worth right here. 1.112, excuse me, 1,012,000. 1.1 is what you're looking at. So now you have to say to yourself, wow, if you add this along with the fact that you own your property outright because you inherited it right from your parents, you've been saving up money because you've been living at home. Who's to say that you only have this one product? You may, in the middle of your career, when you get in your 40s, see how well this is doing and say, you know what, Ron G, I'm going to go give me another one, you know? And so this is why this is just the baseline of how at the age of 58 years of age, you can stop working literally for the rest of your life and live out your days in your 60s and your 70s, if that's what you choose to do, traveling the world and doing the things in life that you probably prefer to do, which means that, guess what? Yeah, I would love to say, hey, I'm a millionaire at 58 years of age. So again, the older you get, in this case, the richer. Ron G, aka your console, the Network Nation. Peace.